So we're almost there, guys. It's almost the end of day one, the conference. But don't worry, we've got a wonderful treat for you now. Someone who is going to make his first appearance at a Festival of Media, which is wonderful. He's only been in the role maybe a few months, so it's even more exciting. It's also the daddy, if you like, or the mummy of social media. It is the VP, it's Diego Zodan, who is the VP of Sales LATAM for Facebook. Come on up, Diego. Woo.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. It's super nice to be here. I am Vice President for Latin America at Facebook. I've been at the company for a fairly short period of time, just a few months, and I am new in the industry. I must confess I'm super excited to be here, being a rookie, more or less, in the industry, closing the day that was opened up by Sir Martin Sorrell. It's super nice, really, to be here. And I know that I'm standing in the middle of many happy hours and you now, so this needs to be a very engaging presentation. And what we wanted to share today is how there are transformations going on in the way that people behave based on the evolution of mobile, how that is exactly impacting the way that people behave, how we behave every day because of that growth of mobile. And the third, how that represents a very important opportunity for marketers, for brands, for agencies, for partners, actually to communicate and reach those audiences in a very unique way. Actually, for the first time, we are being able to reach very specifically individuals with very customized messages, but do that at scale. So it's a very unique opportunity that we are seeing at Facebook. And in the end, everything is about people. And we will insist on that throughout this presentation. You will see that as much as we can refer to people on a one-on-one basis, on individual basis, and we can have a message that has impact on every single individual, the more effective is the message. And we're starting to see that some industries are starting to be redefined because of that. When you see some companies actually changing the structure of their profit and losses because of the way they use these technologies, or when you see some new players, some new entrants actually disrupting some very traditional companies because of the way that they use Facebook and digital marketing, that's when it starts getting really serious. And if it is about people, I wanted to share one first video that explains why for Facebook is so important. It's about 1 billion people in one day.
Today, 1 billion of us connected on Facebook. But what is a billion? Really, what is it? Look closely, and you'll see more than a number. It's moms and little brothers and cousins of cousins. There's Sam, Dante, Ingrid, and Lawrence. It's camping trips, religion, and whatever this is. There's likes, loves, and unfortunately still some hate. Look past the number. You'll find friendships, all kinds of friendships. School friends, work friends, friends of friends, and the friends you forgot that didn't forget you. There's people saying hello to new friends and saying goodbye to old ones. It's celebrating justice or celebrating with emojis. It's shouting that you're in love or quietly saying it's complicated. Look closer and you'll see. It's people agreeing to disagree, throwing back to past Thursdays while trying to forget others, sharing anything that makes you think or laugh or cry or cringe or totally lose it. It's being there when you're nowhere near. That is a billion. And while it's a big number, today it somehow feels smaller than it ever has.
So probably many of you remember we advertised on August 27th that we reach 1 billion people connected to Facebook in one single day. So again, that shows exactly the power of people. And this is not about cookies or about some form of IDs of people that do not represent us. This is about us. This is my personal page. This is a picture the team took when I first visited our Mexico City office a few weeks ago. And if you go to my profile page, you will see a lot of information personally from me. I'm from Argentina, some pictures from my runs in Argentina, another run in New York, a lot of time that I spend with my 3 girls that I love. And again, it's all about the information that we put as ourselves. There is a very clear identification of us. And everything is about the shift to mobile and how that is influencing the way that we communicate and we get connected. And we did a lot of research around our behavior on that. And there are some conclusions when we look at what we do, for example, when we wake up. If you look at millennials, what is it the first thing that millennials do when they wake up? They actually connect to Facebook and take a look at what happened in Facebook. And it's interesting because it's actually the same thing that they did when they went to sleep. Actually, before sleeping, they did also look at the same platform. So it's interesting. Maybe for adults, the first thing they would do is brush their teeth. But for millennials, it is actually connecting to Facebook. And it's deriving in a lot of changes in our day-to-day behavior. One of the most exciting things, there's research that shows that people texting and walking actually change their behavior. And just think of it. I do have that sort of addiction of actually walking on my iPhone. And just imagine how more you are aware of what's going on around you, how you walk with more cautious, how you in general are a lot more careful with your surroundings. That's just one more example of how this is different. And the topics we normally discuss on Facebook are also super interesting. If you think, what is the most discussed topic on Facebook? If you thought of food, you're right. Food is the #1 topic. There are 1.1 billion interactions on Facebook around food in any 30-day period that you want to look at. That shows that this is a very relevant topic for most of us. Actually, if you double click on it, breakfast is the #1 food that is discussed. And again, double clicking on that, coffee within breakfast is the most widely discussed topic. There are actually 50 million pictures posted per day on coffee about breakfast. So just imagine if you are a brand about coffee, what a great opportunity this is to communicate with audiences in a way that you have never been able to do it before. So the way that mobility has evolved is a change that we have never seen before in any technological way. If you look at radio, before we got to 50 million users, we needed 38 years. For TV, we needed only 13 years. And if you look at the iPhone, it only took 2 years to get to 50 million users. So that also shows how much this trend is evolving. And it's not that it's evolving and it's a continuum that still has not defined. This has already changed. If you look at what we have in our cell phones, it's a computer that has more power than the computer that put a person in the moon more than 40 years ago. So this is a process that is already having a significant impact in day-to-day lives. And looking at the numbers, there's a recent study from eMarketer that shows that there are 2.3 billion people by the end of this year accessing the internet over mobile devices. And we feel that that is not necessarily enough. We feel that we can do a lot better. We're actually working under an initiative called Internetorg to make sure that we can bring access and connectivity to the internet to the other 2/3 of the population that don't have it. Internetorg is about a partnership with several companies, actually in Latin America as well, that are looking for ways to providing that access. It's actually a very new information of today. We launched Internetorg in Peru to give access to actually many millions of people that today do not have access. And looking at the numbers, these are very significant numbers in terms of consumers for branders, for brands and marketers in general. If you look at Brazil, Argentina, Mexico, Colombia in total, there are 176 million people accessing Facebook through their mobile phones. This is massive. It's a very large audience that we can reach in very specific ways. And again, double-clicking in the way that those consumers are behaving, one big first trend that we wanted to discuss is multi-screening. And I know that that has been discussed also earlier today. 73% of people connected on Facebook actually do multi-screening. They do more than one device. Actually, 67% use as the #1 device a mobile phone. Going to millennials, double-clicking once again on those consumer behaviors, 59% of millennials are actually multi-screeners. It's normal for them to be watching TV and at the same time using their cell phones. And another very interesting trend, and getting pretty much into the details of how to prepare, how to design a campaign to take advantage of these trends, 89% of millennials actually access Facebook on mobile actually from their homes. And this was at first a little shocking. When we first saw this, we said, this is very interesting, because we would normally say if they are accessing Facebook on their mobile device, whatever device it is, it doesn't necessarily have to be from their home. But it happens that most millennials do not have very expensive data plans. So if they will watch videos, for example, it is much easier to watch videos from home, where in general they do have good Wi-Fi connections. So think, what is the implication of that when we design any communication campaign with that audience? Would you play video heavy in data usage at noon when probably they don't have a Wi-Fi connection? No, it wouldn't make sense. You would normally play videos early in the morning, late in the evening, when they have a good connection and we can have the most impact. So this is just one example of how these habits get very sophisticated input by the time of defining the creativity of these campaigns. The other topic we wanted also to analyze very quickly is the use of several devices to make purchasing decisions on any consumer products. If you look at those numbers cover Brazil, Colombia, and Mexico, we see that in general, a cell phone or a mobile device is widely used in a process. There in marked in green, we have that, for example, in Mexico, a mobile device is more used than a desktop computer to make any purchasing decision through Facebook. And that is impacting many processes of buying. Another very interesting statistic, this line represents the trends in the check-ins that people do around specific dates when they go shopping. So for example, Women's Day, we see a first peak in check-ins, in shopping centers for people clearly shopping and making some buying decisions and actually interacting with Facebook. These check-ins are in the pages of the shopping centers where they are actually shopping. Easter, Mother's Day, so there's a lot of activity around cell phones and mobile devices when buying in those special dates. And even throughout the season, those behaviors go on changing. We had some super interesting statistics. There are about 51 million posts per day during summer months in Argentina, which is a lot more than during winter time. In Chile, people post 89% more images than text, also during the summer. Peru, 2.8 times more videos are published in summer than in the winter. Once again, just imagine how that impacts the way that we define a communication approach with these people on the platform. And in general, the evolution of the communication has gone towards a lot more richness in the way we address and communicate, even on a one-on-one basis. We could have a conversation like this, referring to a place we like, and someone replies back, and we give agreement, and we haven't written even one single line of text. And that has led to the evolution of Instagram. And there was an earlier presentation on Instagram, so I will just refer very briefly in this slide. But based on the evolution of the communication just through rich images, we launched Instagram. And as you saw in the presentation earlier today, now we have 400 million people interacting with Instagram on a monthly basis. And actually, there are 1.1 billion likes per day on Instagram on any specific day. So that shows how much the communication through images is impacting the behavior of all of us. So now going back not only to Instagram, but also to Facebook and in general the communication, the evolution has gone from communicating by text. Many of you still remember when Facebook was about writing whatever we felt at the moment. Then it evolved towards posting pictures. Now the big trend is using video. And there is a future trend that we are already seeing, and there were some announcements we made yesterday around virtual reality, or what we call spherical video, which are very immersive ways for us to actually feel that we are there where those pictures were taken. So that is a natural trend that is leading to a super high growth rate for video overall on Facebook. If you look at the numbers, some of the presentations earlier today share a slight decline in TV worldwide. If you look at numbers, between 2012 2014, there was a decline of approximately 2%. But if you look at some specific markets where that decline happened, you see that more or less the number of users on mobile are similar to the levels of audience on TV. So how could that happen? You know, the TV is more or less the same, but we still have, you know, a spread between TV and mobility. And that goes back to the point on multi-screening. And particularly among millennials, that is a super strong trend. In Mexico, the number is more or less even. Number of TV viewers as mobile users on any specific time. And the numbers in terms of video growth are amazing. If you look at Facebook, we have on any given day 4 billion video views daily, again. And that represents 75% growth worldwide compared to last year. So basically what we are saying is 2 years ago, this number, now at 4 billion, was very, very slow, almost zero. So there is amazing growth. And going back to the main point that we wanted to make here, that is leading to the opportunity of working on a very mass scale. We are being able to reach millions of people. If we talk about mobile, it's those 176 million users of Facebook accessing through mobility. If you look at the market in general, not only about mobility, it's almost 300 million people in Latin America, 1.4 billion people overall globally. We have a very massive reach, but we can reach each person, each individual. And again, it's all about people with a very individual and specific message. And this opens up a very interesting opportunity. We're moving from a world where we used to control everything with a remote control and a very wide world to this, where we can have very specific messages aligned to what people are interested in hearing and seeing, and personalized exactly for what each person wants to see. And just to make it very tangible in terms of what we can do in terms of communication with all these resources, I just wanted to cite 2 examples. One of them is the launch of a car, the Lexus NX, that was able to produce specific video for specific audiences. So if we could identify that in Facebook you liked sports, or you like coffee, or you like wine, So the video starts with something that is relevant for your interest, and then it goes to show you the car. So there's a first interaction with something that is of interest to you, that you can feel related, and once you are tied to that ad, then it goes on and moves to the message that is important to you. The other example that I really like is TIM in Brazil, the cell phone operator. They run a campaign with a very conservative production effort, because this didn't require a whole lot of effort. They customized this video promoting TIM to each soccer team that we know each of the people on the platform were supporters of. So if you were a fan of Palmeiras, you would first see an image of Palmeiras and a few other Palmeiras fans, and then the video for TIM would continue. So minimum customization, but you could really feel related to that. So the impact of that campaign was amazing. Actually, there are public results on this, and the level of brand lift, brand engagement that this led was amazing, with a very, very strong return. And what we feel overall is that the redefinition that is happening in many industries around this transformation will continue to accelerate. When you see a platform going from almost 0 video views a couple of years ago to 4 billion video views with a growth rate of 75%, we can assume that this is a trend that will continue to accelerate. And really our offer is to partner with everyone. We feel that for marketers, this is a beautiful opportunity. We feel that for agencies, this is also an opportunity of creating new value in new ways that had never been created before. Even for other medium, there are lots of opportunities to complement each other. Again, multi-screening shows that competition is being totally redefined. This is a huge new way of reaching audiences. And we are absolutely interested and open in working with all of you. And just to finalize, I will play a video that represents exactly the way we think about this opportunity of working together. Again, it's all about people. The people are us here in the room, and I wanted to extend an invitation. I knew we were standing in the middle of the happy hour, so we have also a suite here at the hotel, the presidential suite at the 8th floor, and we are all invited to go there. There are two elements that I hope will be interesting for the happy hour. First, free beer, until at least we run out of it. But the other one, we have an Instagram room. Probably you've seen some of the pictures of yesterday. It replicates the elevator of the famous movie on the hotel. So if you want to go there, there are lots of funny pictures that I'm sure you can take. Once again, thank you very much. Look forward to partnering with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Diego. What a great end to the day. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.